Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. InfoWarsStore.com.
And speaking of things that have been going on for years and years and years, the allegations of one Bill Clinton. Now, recently, myself, Joe Biggs, and Rob Dew, we had a chance to go up to Milwaukee following the civil unrest up there with flat-out riots. Let's call it what it is. Following the shooting of a man up there. And a lot of people have differing opinions. I've yet to see the official police video, so I'm not going to speak so much on that aspect of it. But basically, the thing had settled down by the time we got there Monday night. So with that, a little bit cooler heads prevailing out there, and very good to you guys, Milwaukee, for squashing that down and not letting it become a larger issue as far as the violence is concerned. Trump was also speaking in the Milwaukee area about 30 minutes outside the city. So with things cool in Milwaukee, we went up there to the Trump rally. Now, while I was out there, there was a small group of anti-Trump demonstrators, and I guess Trump has figured this thing out. He doesn't want a bunch of violence and flag burning and people throwing barricades at police and the horses out there. So he's getting a little bit smarter and not having his rallies in the inner city where people could take a bus so they could walk down there and cause a bunch of ruckus. When we went out to Milwaukee, his facility was kind of out there in the sticks. I think the only thing in the immediate area was a hospital. Didn't look like there's any public transportation where people could just get off a bus, run up there and protest. With that said, there was a smaller group of Trump demonstrators. A lot of them were just, soccer mom types. And I felt this was an opportunity to go engage them in conversation. And you guys know how I feel about Trump, but I can actually articulate to you why I feel that way about Trump, or Clinton for that matter. And I was curious as to why these people were anti-Trump. And when I engaged them in conversation, they would say something to me to the effect of, I don't like Trump because he's a sexist, or he said negative things about Megyn Kelly or Rosie O'Donnell. And yeah, he did those things. I'm not justifying him. He has a freedom of speech, but so I'm not encouraging anybody to go out there and do that. With that said, I said, okay, so he said this about this person, about that person, but you have Mrs. Clinton, who has called Bill's rape accusers Bill's bimbos, and you guys don't really seem to be too concerned about that. Oh, well, nobody's perfect. That's the justification I gave you. That's just like I was talking about Clinton and Colin Powell. It's not okay when Colin Powell did it. It's not okay when Clinton does it. So if you want to call Trump a sexist because he said something about Megyn Kelly, but then give her a free pass when she calls these accusers Bill's bimbos, there's something wrong with that logic, in my personal opinion. Now, let's take a look at this article. Clinton's sexual assault accusers Paula Jones, Kathleen Wiley unite against NBC's Andrea Mitchell. Wiley and Jones are demanding that NBC News anchor Andrea Mitchell issue a public apology for baselessly claiming that Broderick, another Bill Clinton rape accuser, was discredited during a segment on the Today Show. And this is following a letter from Broderick's attorney. Now, NBC has deleted references to it in its internet version of the report, but they have not fulfilled Broderick's request for an apology. And this is what they do. They'll just go out there, they say anything they want to say, and then they just hope that nobody on the back end catches up with it. And this is what I tell people. I say this, in some of the newer guys that come into the office. A lot of times people remember the first thing that they hear from the source that they believe, whether that's true or not. And people can make honest mistakes. I definitely don't bash people for that. But when you come out and say that something as heinous as a rape allegation, you're discredited and you need some actual proof to come out and say something like that. And this is what I'm saying, like when they build this wall of protection around Hillary, you can say Trump's misogynistic, Trump's a sexist, he's a this and that, he doesn't pay his people, his wife is naked on the cover of magazines, and all that's well and good. But if you bring up how old Billy Boy has been accused of, for decades, of raping women, you're just anti-Hillary. You're just not ready to see a woman in the White House. Now, somebody who you won't be seeing in the White House, this is Paul Manafort. He has resigned from Trump's campaign. And Donald Trump's outspoken campaign chairman, Paul Manafort, resigned on Friday, and this is amid growing speculation about his ties to Ukrainian politics. He came under fire in a New York Times article saying that from 2007 to 2012, he had received over $12 million in undisclosed cash payments from a pro-Russian party. Let's talk about celebrity news, but not in the way that you're thinking about. Mike Rowe, the guy from Dirty Jobs, he's coming out and he's speaking about celebrities and their involvement in the political system. And of course, everybody has the right to choose their candidate of their choice. But somebody asked him, Mr. Rowe, will you encourage your followers, your viewers to go out and vote? He says, no, I'm not going to tell people to vote just because they have the right to vote, just like I wouldn't tell somebody to go out and buy a gun just because they have the right to buy a gun. And he made a very interesting point. He was talking about all the celebrities who tell their fans to go out and vote, but they're really telling their fans to go out and vote for their candidate. He's saying all these big celebrities like Leonardo DiCaprio and Ellen and the rest of these guys, they want you to go out and vote for somebody like Mrs. Clinton. They don't want you to go out and vote for Trump. Just like when you see these ads from these Democrats, I remember the one, it was like the Turn Down for What, that had Little John and Lena Dunham and a lot of those celebrities in it. And it's like, yeah, just go out and vote. And then the whole thing was about gun control and legalizing marijuana and a bunch of other things. And I'm not saying all those things are bad, but the point is, like, go out and vote, but we're going to tell you how to vote. It's not like vote for yourself or vote who you want. Vote, but vote how we would tell you to vote. And that's how celebrities manipulate the public. And just one big thing about propaganda. And finally, we'll go with this NSA article before we come back with more special reports. NSA leak is real, Snowden documents confirmed. And this is on Monday, a hacking group calling itself the Shadow Brokers announced an auction for what it called cyber weapons made by the NSA. And they said Snowden has been able to come out and authenticate this information, saying yet this was an actual tool used by the NSA. And there's been a lot of talk about who's going to be in Trump's cabinet. I personally would like to see Trump add as the head of the NSA John McAfee, so John McAfee can shut down the NSA. And he said, hey, I'll just give you a free copy of McAfee antivirus software and you can figure out the rest for yourself. That's it for this segment. Stay tuned after this break for more special reports.
In the past decade, we have witnessed unparalleled scientific discoveries in the area of health. But no one has put together a formula that focuses directly on brain health, nerve growth factors, and optimizing your cellular energy at the same time. DNA Force is one of the most expensive formulas to produce. Some of the ingredients in DNA Force are $12,000 a kilogram. We are using the coveted, patented, only American source of PQQ, CoQ10, and more. You want the best that's out there at the lowest price anywhere? Well, we're bringing you a total win-win. The ultimate value, cutting-edge, trailblazing game changer that also supports the InfoWar. We have produced a limited run of DNA Force, and it will take up to 12 weeks to produce more once we sell out. Secure your DNA Force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139.